Welcome back to Chronicle, State of Our Schools, continuing our conversation right now about morale in the classroom and how teachers are feeling. I was talking with a longtime educator earlier this week who said he has never seen morale this low. Is that something that you're seeing right now? Crescent, we'll start with you.
I feel like there are so many expectations put on teachers now. For anything from school safety to dealing with the aftermath of COVID, making sure that we get kids back on a level that makes them successful and really focusing on that growth. And sometimes with, as we've talked about, understaffed situations. So I think really providing that support to teachers. I know one of our priorities this year is going to be increasing our mentor program. And just like we talk about wraparound services for students, the wraparound services for our teachers as well. Mentoring not just on classroom management and classroom strategies, but really how can I help you outside the classroom? What do you need? And how can we be a more cohesive, supportive community for all of those teachers, no matter where they come from?
How would you say your teachers are feeling right now? Would you say that they're excited? Would you say that they're beat down?
It's August, right? They are so excited. So I have a son who's actually a teacher in Tulsa, and he treats me, well, anyway, I still buy his school supplies for his classroom. He's like, hey, well, because he's a teacher, right? So I got to help him get his classroom together, and he didn't even start for like 3 weeks, and he's already built it. So teachers love that. Like, we have to hold them off, like, let us finish cleaning before you get in here to decorate your classrooms and get everything together. However, when they go out into the community, it's a heavy burden. It really is a heavy burden, and it is all of the things that schools are expected to be now, but honestly, quite honestly, don't get the credit for. Every single one of our teachers, our schools, they want to build a community in which kids feel safe, parents feel like they can have conversations, and they feel safe. And so they're eager, but it is a heavy load to carry.
Dr. Rick Cobb of Mid-Del, we have seen schools, especially public schools, school board meetings become the newest political arena, whether it comes to what can and can't be taught in schools, who can use the bathroom, transgender athletes in sports, what books are allowed to be read. How are your teachers feeling? How are they coping with all of that, and how are you?
As far as what our teachers are feeling right now, I think it's a range of things, and I've talked to some teachers who are really excited for school to start. They've been in their classroom way before they're back on contract, just trying to get things set up, because that's, you know, there's just always that dedication and that commitment. We've had teachers, we had our largest summer school ever in June, paid for in part by COVID funds. More students than we've ever had participate, more teachers than we've ever had participate. We've had professional development going on throughout the summer, hundreds of teachers a week going to things on their own time. So in terms of the professional commitment of our teachers, I haven't seen that wane. But what I'm hoping is that this summer was a little more restorative for our teachers than last summer was. I think that was something that we all felt coming out of the 2021 school year. Okay, we need a couple of months to breathe and everything will be better. And then then Delta hit right at the beginning of the school year, and it wasn't. And so I'm just hopeful that this year some of that rest was actually restorative, because last year it didn't feel like it was once we really got into the heat of things in August.
You know, one of the things I've been really excited about is to see all of the teachers that are participating in professional development taking time away from their summer to learn and do and come away with tools that they can utilize this fall. And I think that is really exciting. You know, even with our athletic programs, we've had more participation with our coaching staff and more just stuff that's going on during the summer, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see these kids involved and engaged, and see all these teachers that are wanting to get better, that are incorporating professional development activities and things like that. It's exciting.
Dr. Romans and Dr. Simmeroth, you both were talking about the political divisiveness and the rhetoric that you have heard from the state. How has that impacted you, your district, your teachers?
I think a lot of what we try to do is we really try to do our best to insulate our staffs from that. I mean, they hear it. We try our best to support them, to let them go about their mission, really, of teaching kids. But I will tell you, it's exhausting when you have state leaders that are not the most supportive of public education. What, we have 600, 700,000 students.
Give or take.
Give or take, yeah. Every kid that comes into our doors we serve, but it's hard when you have leaders, candidates that are openly critical or openly attacking public institutions like this.
Do you feel like public education is under attack right now?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
For years.
absolutely.
When you attack one superintendent, you attack all of us.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what the school district is. If you are attacking a school or a superintendent, all of us feel it.
Schools and kids should not be a political weapon, a political
Pawn.
tool.
Right.
Well, and as Cecilia mentioned, superintendents feel it, or teachers feel it.
Right.
We won't talk about what school districts that you're referencing, but the educators in my district, they watch that and they see that unfold. And to be quite honest, it's scary, and it inflames people, and it's just not good practice, and it's not good business.
I will say, none of us believe that we are all knowing and all being to everybody.
No.
None of us are. But we all would like the opportunity to hear first from people who have concerns so that we can address the concern before we hear it in public. And often what's happening is people are being attacked, and that's the first time they're hearing it when it goes out public, which we would never allow for that to happen to our teachers. If somebody comes to us, they see us in the grocery store, they say, Mr. So-and-so does so-and-so. I'm like, have you talked to Mr. So-and-so? Let's start there.
Perfect example with news with reporters. You and I've worked together a long, long time. And anytime there's a question, you pick up the phone and you call.
Absolutely.
And you say, Romines, this is on our radar. What's going on here?
Yep.
Now that social media has taken a front there, I mean, you can get on Twitter or Facebook and just Google certain things or search certain things, and it's an attack on social media, and it's a mess, and it's unfortunate and it's unfair.
You also use the word scary, which stuck out to me, and we won't mention certain school districts, but when you see one being audited or you see one being placed on warning, does that hinder your job a little bit? You say it's scary. Do you think your teachers feel like maybe they're walking on eggshells a little bit? They don't want to get the
Absolutely.
district in trouble.
When you're making lesson plans as a teacher, you have all of these things that you want to get through. I've got 50 minutes in this English class to get here, 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 and here. And somebody makes a comment, and now you have a teachable moment. And I don't want our teachers to be so afraid of that teachable moment that they don't reach out and do it. That they just say, nope, you know what, it's unscripted, I better just keep going. Because there are times that the best things I taught my students when I was teaching high school English weren't what was in the lesson plan to begin with. And so I don't want our teachers teaching with alligator arms.
We've talked about several of the, you called it a political pawn, different talking points within public school education, what can and can't be taught, critical race theory, what's in books, just all sorts of stuff. But Dr. McDaniel, was there ever a moment in recent months or even in recent years where you were maybe watching a school board meeting or you were reading something on social media where you thought things are now different? Things have changed when it comes to public education.
It seems like the heat has been turned up considerably the last 2 or 3 years, for sure. And I think what keeps us all positive and keeps our attitudes in check is no matter what the heat is, we continue to see our teachers performing. No matter what happens, they show up, they roll up their sleeves, they get in there and they change lives. And so I think that's what, that's I guess the silver lining of this whole thing. I'm not going to say we don't hear a little whining every now and then. We do, but then they get in and get the job done.
Right.
And they don't use things for excuses. They don't point to the political mess or something somebody said as an excuse to not do their best. They acknowledge it, we talk about it, we support them, they get in and get it done. So, but yeah, I think the last couple of years has been unlike any pressure that I've ever seen placed upon public education.
Sean mentions teachers continuing to do the good work and doing what they do. Our students are performing too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, take a look at the 700,000 plus public education students that are performing and doing well. And that's where I get my life, when I get down and I see things or public education under attack or one of these under attack, I'm in a classroom and immediately. you know, the light switches, and teachers are the very same way.
A lot of the rhetoric around what should be happening, what shouldn't be happening, and the conversation about being parent-led, right? Parents ought to have this, and parents should know this, and parents. We are here every single day for kids who don't have parents, who don't have a community, who don't have any, they don't have, the only consistency they have is school. Those are the people that teachers show up for every single day. Those are the people that are being left out of this conversation. We are worried about the people who have, and we're leaving out the people who have not. And that's why we do what we do. That is why teachers do what they do. It's not to say that those concerns aren't important, but if you have a parent, that means you can have a conversation, right? Some adult can represent you. We have babies who every night they go somewhere different. Every day they go somewhere different, and they show back up to do well. That's why we do what we do. That's why public schools are important. That's why the dismantling of public schools is wrong, because the people that lose out are brown, poor, and they don't speak English.
We'll be right back.